Hello, my name is Renee Korczak. I'm a sports registered dietitian. I work for nutrition counseling services at RWJBarnabas Health Ambulatory Care Center. I also work very closely with collegiate and high school teams in partnership with the Matthew J. Morahan II Health Assessment Center for Athletes. I am pleased to provide this introduction to the athlete's plate. So, what is an athlete's plate? Well, as a healthcare practitioner, I think it's really useful to have a visual model to be able to counsel athletes and patients with when it comes to how their diet should ladder up to their training. So this plate is really focused on what your plate should look like for a day where your workout might be a little bit more low intensity or so-called an easy day. And easy days can include workouts such as walking, stretching, or low intensity activities. And what you notice on this plate is that about 50% of it is filled up with fresh fruits and vegetables. 50% of the plate is full, so that's going to fill you up, keep you pretty satisfied. The fruits and veggies are full of fiber and a lot of those key micronutrients that your body does require, but that's going to be lower in calorie when you're consuming those fruits and veggies. 25% of the plate or more should include a lean source of protein. Protein can come from both animal and plant-based sources, so we have a lot of flexibility in protein choices. That dotted line there really means that you have more wiggle room in your diet to increase protein on the plate if needed. Those who are losing weight or lost weight and are in this weight management phase do require ample amounts of protein to help maintain lean body mass. Last but certainly not least, whole grains in the form of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are really that foundational nutrient that provide fuel to everyone, including athletes. So we want to make sure that we're getting preferably a whole grain choice on our plate, something like brown rice, darker pasta, whole grain bread, and then of course you have your other starchier vegetables and legumes. We need some fat to be able to absorb fat-soluble vitamins and nutrients from food. We don't want to forget about hydration. So you see beverages pictured there, and we want to flavor our food using herbs and salt and pepper when needed. So, just a quick basic review of nutrients and foods on an athlete's plate. The three macronutrients that we require most in our diet are carbohydrates, which break down to provide us the main fuel source for working muscles. Protein, which is really needed to help with muscle health and to help with muscle recovery. And if someone wants to gain muscle mass, protein is definitely needed in ample amounts. Fat is really there to help kind of absorb key vitamins and minerals. And then those vitamins and minerals are so essential too, because each of them play smaller roles to help support athletic performance and energy. And anything like water, dairy, beverages, diluted juices are really there for hydration. We want to make sure our athletes are well hydrated to prevent fatigue, dizziness, or more serious complications. Here's what my plate looks like on an easy day. I try to teach with practicality and show realistic examples of what a plate could look like. Food does not have to be complicated. You can use things that hopefully you have in your refrigerator already or on your countertop to help kind of fill your plate with things that model that athlete's plate. So here I have some scrambled eggs and egg whites for my protein. I have quinoa as my whole grain blended with some olive oil, black beans, red peppers, a sliced kiwi fruit, sliced avocado for a healthy fat, and a leftover salad here that kind of helps fill up my plate with that fresh fruits and vegetables. So again, it can be very practical, easy, and fun to build a training plate. I think I covered this already, but really, I get a lot of questions about carbohydrates, and oftentimes athletes have a hard time meeting their carbohydrate requirements because they do require more compared to a sedentary person. So we just want to emphasize that carbohydrates really provide fuel for the brain and for the working muscles. Without adequate carbohydrates in your diet, you will definitely feel it in your training. We want to look for carbohydrates that are sources of whole grains or those starchy vegetables, trying to minimize, processed foods as much as possible, and making sure that those carbohydrates also offer ample amounts of fiber for gut health. Protein, just briefly here on protein. Protein is so widely available in our diets. You can get it from both plant and animal food sources. So if you're a vegan, you definitely want to work with a sports dietitian to consider how to get protein in your diet. So things like black beans and tofu, nut butters, cashews are good sources of protein. And then if you are a meat eater and eat animal food sources, things like chicken breast, lean beef, pork, and then dairy products certainly can help you meet your protein requirements. I want to end off by outlining that it's very important to work with a sports dietitian if you need help creating a fueling plate. And there's really two ways to kind of reach out to us. You can call Nutrition Counseling Services at 973-322-7913, or you can simply use our website to look at the information as to how to schedule an appointment. Some resources here to include the American Sports Dietitian Performance Association, ASPDA, and the United States Olympic Committee has some really great resources, images of the athletes' plates themselves, and some tips, tricks, and recipes for those who are interested. Thank you.